Item 9C, consideration, discussion, and possible authorization of the city manager and staff to proceed with the request for qualification process of professional consulting firms to prepare a complete streets and streetscaping plan. Larry.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Larry Curtis, Community Development Director. The City of Broken Arrow recognizes the need for a plan to ensure that the city provides all modes of transportation for all people and provides gateway corridor improvements to enhance the visual appeal of placemaking. This is intended to develop a complete streets and streetscaping plan that develops a guide transportation improvements and right-of-way treatment designed to support economic development and community placemaking. The plan would also be used to guide for capital improvements along with the public right-of-way, as well as recommendations on requirements for private landscaping of properties developed within the city. Design elements do plan to include street trees, other landscaping, pedestrian corridor design, furniture, signage, lighting, sidewalks, and hardscapes. And we ask that you authorize the city manager to move forward with the bidding, or the...
Mayor, if I can.
Sure.
You know, Larry, you know this. We've talked the last couple of years about what I call the armor all.
Mm-hmm.
When you wash your car, and the first thing people look at is the armor all. And one of the things that we've talked about at Broken Arrow, we're at the point where, you know, can we start looking at initiatives like this to improve and enhance the quality of life of our public improvements. And so would this be the area where we take a look at our existing intersections?
Absolutely.
I know I've talked to several council members about the quality of intersections. We get a lot of compliments about 91st or Washington and Aspen. Mm-hmm. And so this is our opportunity to do this. So when we look at what's recommended, we could consider that as a part of our next bond package?
Yes, sir.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, as the city manager said, you know, this is the armor all. I, as a citizen, having grown up here, know that our city has done exceptionally well on trying to maintain our streets and improve our quality of life with regards to that. But as with any city, the citizens deserve the highest quality of life as possible. And so with this plan that we would be developing from this, it would help develop all the intersections and corridors and have that expectation of how we develop the city and have that plan. So when we have bond projects, when we have questions to the public, we can say, along with the comprehensive plan, that this is the guide that helps decide, that will help us decide what are the next initiatives for our community, putting that armor all.
The next question is, we get a lot of questions, and the council members have talked about some of our main corridors and the fencing that's along there and trying to improve the aesthetics of our community with the fencing. So would this be something we would look at as well?
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing that will be, I mean, the city has taken steps with our trails and bikeway programs and things like that. So some of the aspects of the complete streets we're already including already. This is incorporating that, planning out for the entire city and going one step further by incorporating all the landscaping and fencing and all those corridor improvements as a part of this plan to help guide us, because if anything that this city loves is continuity. And so in ensuring that we have that plan of what type of, if we're going to have and encourage fencing, what kind of fencing is that going to be? What is that going to look like? How can we encourage that? Because not just for existing subdivisions, but also for future subdivisions as they come in.
And the last question is the lighting. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are a number of areas in existing parts of our city that we've widened streets and we've taken care of sidewalks, so we could look at decorative lighting or other lighting type opportunities as well.
Yes, and I commend Rocky and his team, along with Ethan and his team, on ensuring we have excellent lighting within our public right-of-ways. But this document will not only create a standard for all of our public right-of-ways, but also can create a standard for our public areas, or private areas as well, to ensure that we have continuity throughout the entire system, to ensure that we have adequate lighting for public safety and development.
Does this include a look at the sign ordinances and signage issues as well?
Actually, we're yes and no. I'll say that just because the bulk package of the sign ordinance update is a part of our update of the zoning ordinance, and so that's going on right now. Okay. This will incorporate elements of the sign ordinance as we move forward. So we expect this to be kicked off summertime and be hopefully have it complete by springtime of next year. And so the zoning ordinance will hopefully, the updated zoning ordinance will be already be hopefully accepted by then. So this would be an amendment to anything that would be recommended.
And incorporating it into
the existing, yes.
So when I looked at the budget of $200,000, what does that include?
That includes the entire package of the entire complete streets. So where, the comprehensive plan has been very, well, it's in the word itself, comprehensive, but it's also conceptualized. So there's a lot of dreaming associated with that. With this overall plan, it'll actually map out the streets associated with what we should be doing, what, where, why, and how. So we don't necessarily expect to take the complete 200,000, but that's what we initially budgeted for.
The last thing I'd like to suggest, I mean, we're talking about possibly making improvements that could last a generation. And so
Yes.
this is probably worthy of the council having a subcommittee or a citizens committee that can provide input. And I just wanted to know if the council have interest, and then we could put it on a future agenda for a discussion and then get direction, so then we could find the folks to participate, because this could be really, really important for our city.
I think it's, I think it's extremely important because, when we look at like our own home and just curb appeal is a huge thing when you're buying a home, and this is no different. When you drive into a city and whatever that curb appeal is super important. And because when I think about their cities, and I won't say who they are, but there's certain cities in Oklahoma that you drive into, it's like you're there. You're in that city, and there's something about it, and whether your house is worth $100,000 or $1 million, that curb appeal in your city makes your house worth more, and it makes your city a place more people want to move to. So I think it's really important, and having, one thing I think Broken Arrow is lacking is that continuity of like having, like when you enter, of course we're working on the gateways stuff, but just everything around the city where when you see a sign off in the distance, it's like that's a Broken Arrow sign, and even if you don't know what it says, it's BA.
We've already started that with the Gateway project, working with Ethan and his team, and making those initiatives there. But in addition to that, yes, right now our zoning ordinance is very, it just says, for example, that a subdivision may go in and along arterials may have an opaque fence with some alterations every so many feet. Well, I think we're wanting to now take that one step further, putting that armor on there and saying specifically what do we want that to look like and have that continuity within the entire city itself.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly pleased with the possibility of having a citizens committee, involvement, because that always, especially since it's so long-term, that really brings other eyes and ideas besides just the councilor and staff on board. So we've seemed like we were always successful when we reach out to the community and have the committees report back to us.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Motion passes.